brethren, is not Doreen or any of her disciples are listening to what I have to say, and even if you don't want to pray about it, listen to what I have to say and consider. None of them are considering what I have to say. They're just assuming that they're right. You can never get anywhere with that. You can never learn anything with that. It's Leviathan, the pride of man, depriving you of really a God-given right to use your mind, to reason, to think things through, to truly desire truth, and to bounce it off of God. You should be doing that with everything that I tell you. You should be thinking it through, praying about it, asking, well, you come from a position of believing that I'm telling you the truth because God sent you to study with me, but if you come in, if someone comes in off the internet and you're not sent to study with me, or you don't know that you're sent to study with me, brethren, you cannot have a legitimate comment until you understand what I've said. You need to understand what I've said before you can complain or disagree. So I find that the people that come into my life don't even know how to communicate. They do, and I'm talking about Doreen and her disciples. Brethren, what I'm saying now has nothing to do with whether or not I think they're nice people. I have nothing against Doreen or her followers personally. I happen to like them. What I'm telling you is that Doreen and her disciples, and every Christian I've ever met, to tell you the truth, except most of the people here, because I've been training you for all of these years, just simply don't know how to have a conversation with someone that they don't agree with. It is a skill. It is a skill to have a conversation with someone that you don't agree with. And it's an important skill. Otherwise you stay in this little box and you never grow. It's a tragedy. It's a jail that you put yourself in, that you can't listen to other ideas and decide whether you want to embrace them or not. Even if your response is, well, I don't know about that. It doesn't sound right, but I'm going to leave it alone. That's what Gamaliel, the great Jewish teacher, told the Jews that were really railing against the Christians in the early days. He said, don't go railing against this doctrine. You may find yourself at war with God. If you don't get the witness and you want, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. But the pride of man has to be right. Well, she's this probably very nice lady. I don't even know her. This very nice lady that originally said kind things about me. Okay, she has decided that Doreen's teachings that Doreen is her teacher. Although Doreen denies she's a teacher, she's a teacher. That she wants to align herself with these teachings to the degree, and she probably has prayed about them and feels comfortable with them. See, that's the great danger. You pray about a teaching and you feel comfortable with it, and you think God is supporting it. But you don't know that you've heard from God. You have to pray continually. Brother, you have to have a relationship with God. You have to have a relationship with God where you communicate with Him on every level, always. If you want God to be witnessing doctrine to you, you cannot separate the rest of your life from God. You cannot be living your life in a certain area that the Lord has told you to depart from and expect to be getting witnesses to doctrine from Him. The best you can hope for is that you have an understanding that He put you with this teacher. You want to hear from God directly? Every aspect of your life has to be lined up with what He's telling you to do. I just recently, for the first time, started to pray. I mean, if something goes wrong in my life, I say, Lord, did I do something? Did I not do something I was supposed to do, or did I do something wrong? But I don't recall ever praying until recently. Lord, just please tell me everything. Everything. I want to hear everything. Is there something I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not doing? Or is there something wrong? Not that there's anything wrong in my life today. I just want my life to align with you, Lord. Is there anything I'm supposed to be doing that I forgot about? See? And He actually told me something. See? To me, it wasn't an important thing, but it was an important thing. So I will start to do it. I didn't pray that prayer because something was wrong in my life. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want my life lined up with His will for me fully. So, which I tried to do, but if I'm missing something, please, please, please tell me. And I'm not asking that question because there's something wrong. It's because I love you. And I want to be an expression of you. And I know that I'm imperfect in my ability to accomplish that. Different motive for asking that. See? So I find that people cannot communicate. They can't learn from each other. How sad. So apparently what I said pricked her, and she didn't like it. So she lied in her response. She lied. She said she was responding out of a courtesy, and then she went on to actually attack me by saying, I'm the one that knows more than you, and when you get a new revelation, you can contact me at any time and I'll help you out. And I felt it right in my gut and in my heart. I felt Leviathan penetrating my soul. So I know at this stage of the game that I cannot respond out of the first Adam. I just know, I'm not going I definitely am not going to answer her comment. Definitely not going to get into that nonsense of you cannot have the last word. I have had situations like that with my own disciples here in this ministry. I will tell you, you cannot have the last word. If I bring a correction, you cannot have the last word. So I had some people here that always wanted to have the last word. But she is not my disciple. No. So I asked her to let it be, but she wouldn't let it be, so I let it go. I'll never let it go if you're in my house, if you're in my meeting, if you're in my spiritual house. I'll never let that go. You cannot have the last word with me. I'll pray with you if you really cannot accept what I'm saying, but you cannot have the last word. You cannot justify yourself. You cannot make yourself righteous after I've told you that you've done something wrong and be a part of my ministry. You cannot. Now, if that's really what you believe, we'll pray about it together. But you cannot be correcting my correction. But she's not a part of our household, see? So I will not respond to her. I will respond in the spirit. I will rebuke that pride. I rebuke that Leviathan. I pull her arrows out of me. And I pray for God's best for her, which is always God's truth. So that's interesting what she's saying. She will not be divided. You see, I've told you in other messages, I would love to hear Doreen's full doctrine. I don't know her full doctrine. But this is what she's saying. I will not be divided from God by a spirit. That's what she said. As I said, Adam is the spiritual man who's the mediator. She's saying, I will not be divided from God by a spirit. When the exact opposite is true, that you cannot be connected to God without that spiritual man. But apparently she believes that she's connected to God. Well, she's connected to a God, but I don't know who it is, the goddess. She's connected to the goddess.